Broadcasting Network. Support MBN, Montalvo Broadcasting Network, and shop with us over at Montalvo Store. Go to ebay.com and search in the advanced search. Type in Montalvo Store. Now support Montalvo Broadcasting Network. We have a wide array of books on conspiracy, apparel, and much more. Support your favorite radio station, Montalvo Broadcasting Network, by visiting Montalvo Store on ebay.com.
Tribal, primitive, rustic, Burning Man, punk rock, conceptual subculture for the edgiest, most cutting-edge designs of jewelry today. Go to etsy.com/shop/conceptual subculture, or one word, either by going to Google or search Etsy, ETSY.com, and type in one word, conceptual subculture. You will find the hottest designs using natural stones with wire wrap rings, rough, raw, genuine, semi-precious gemstone jewelry, solid sterling silver, copper, leather, orgonite, bracelets, pendants, chokers, men's copper cups with sterling accents, eco-friendly, repurposed, original, one-of-a-kind design earrings. Support MBN by going to Conceptual Subculture on Etsy. Go to Antique Obsessions for the hottest in jewelry, antiques, repurposed, solid sterling silver, one-of-a-kind, handmade by Bruce and Jaja. Go to our Facebook, which is Antique Obsessions, or you can go to Etsy.com and go to Antique Obsessions, one word, or type it into your Google and find us there. Thanks.
Bruce Montalvo.
Continues to spread conspiracy theories.
Penchant for promoting bogus conspiracies as though they were fact.
Montalvo.
About his conspiracy theory.
This is CNN, a network of China Broadcasting System.
Bruce Montalvo is the only radio talk show host that's not controlled.
This seal is a symbol of good television. It signifies
Montalvo Broadcasting Network.
Observes the high standards of programming and advertising recommended by the Television Code of the National Association of Broadcasters.
Let's get ready to rumble!
We're on the line with John Carman, a former Secret Service agent who lived at China Lake and has also been on assignment there. Thank you for being on, John. I want to get into what's going on over there at China Lake. What can you tell us?
Well, that's an interesting subject. I was talking to Clyde Lewis the other day about this stuff, and Ron Patton, who are friends of mine, because I've been on their show, and I'm a whistleblower, so I go as far back as 95 when I was interviewed with Mike Wallace of 60 Minutes, and that was 3.5 hours. But I'm not sure if it got aired. But if I die tomorrow, you know where to go get the film or whatever. But it just so happens, if you look at my background in law enforcement, and then you go back further because my dad's military, I was transferred around every 3 years. Start off in the middle somewhere in school, like San Diego to Texas, back to San Diego, back to Texas, then to Japan in '67 during the Vietnam War, and then back to China Lake But I was in Atsugi in Japan. I forgot to mention that. Atsugi is a special place. That's where the VQ-1 squadron and U-2 flights, and a guy named Lee Harvey Oswald, if you've ever heard of him. He used to work there.
Yes, we have. Right.
Right? So just kind of put that on the side burner. And then I end up at China Lake in the desert. So you're 220 miles north of San Diego, basically. It's just like 3 hours, almost 4-hour drive, I guess. That's a long drive. I went up there on a class reunion one time and called my work up and says, no, I'm over to reunion. It's a long drive. I don't think I'm going to make it tomorrow morning or tonight or whatever. And they said, no, come in anyway. Come in late. I said, oh, hell. So I drove in after I stayed the night with some friends in a hotel there. But that was in Ridgecrest. But a lot of people don't get it. I've been reading misinformation on some other sites just in the last several days where people are acting like, oh, it's not a big deal. You can live in Ridgecrest. You can get on base. You can know somebody and get on. You can go to the movies. You can go to the store and all this. No, it's not true. You still have to have a sponsor or somebody who has a military ID, which I still did as a dependent. But I also worked undercover work on the same base as well.
Right.
So what's interesting, and all this contradiction, is that with all these guys that are dealing dope and selling guns or armaments or EOD ordnance or something that they stole, what the hell is Naval Intelligence, NIS doing that week? And all these other government agencies. So I got in there because I was young, handsome, martial arts background, that kind of stuff. So I grew my hair long, so I kind of fit in with a certain crowd. The place had a reputation. If you weren't doing dope or drugs, you were a Bible thumper or something else.
Right.
And I lived in the desert, so I know what it's like. But the people I lived next door during the first address were rocket scientists, ex-military, World War II, Korean War grade, some of my best friends that I used to go to school, and we would walk down, a couple thousand yards, go to a gate at the fence, walk through, go to the high school, finish whatever, by 8 p.m. or whatever it was, and then we'd get back through the fence. I've actually had to jump the fence a couple of times, but
right.
Big deal. I've got an ID card. I'm allowed to, right? So, but if you went to another part of the base, it wouldn't matter who you are. You're setting off alarms, even if you parked your car in a certain area.
Right. Isn't 80% of the base actually underground, John?
Maybe.
Well, they got a big. I gotta talk about this. They got a big sign.
No. Let's talk about the numbers. Exactly.
They got a big sign outside that says, "Whatever you do here, it's a secret." And
whatever you do here, whatever comes here, stays here. Do not leave with whatever.
That's just dangerous stuff.
Yeah, it is, and they've changed the gate appearance a few times. They've actually bulldozed the location where I used to live, and then I moved to another house. Are you familiar with a guy by the name of Cesar Romero, the actor?
That's the Joker.
Yeah, the Joker.
Oh, man.
I lived next door to his brother, and he's a scientist. Of course, that was years ago, but I'm just giving you some background. Half the people on the base were scientists, and they were involved in all kinds of weaponry. But if you look at what Area 51 is doing, we're way beyond just dropping MOABs, the mother of all bombs. MOAB, the one that was dropped over in Syria, where Trump gave them a heads up
yes.
at the Russian base as a courtesy call. Say, if you got anybody there, you might want to move them out of there because we're going to drop one or something. Low ordnance type stuff. But I heard the numbers 4,500 to 5,000 need to be evacuated. All essential personnel are going to stay there. And I said, wait a minute. Security, police, intel, certain military people, high-ranking military, but they're not going to... Where the hell are they hiding everybody?
Right.
There's not that many people there. You'd have to look at a map and you can see there's not only so many houses, right?
Right.
So it goes back to what you were just saying. Yeah, there's probably some underground activity like that movie, The Andromeda Strain.
Right. No, there's a lot of strange things going on. I mean, it's happening there. It was literally ground zero for this 7.1 quake. I mean, they call this place the Secret City. I mean, I heard they were doing some type of GPS disabling drills before this big quake happened.
They already have the technology. I'm sorry, I'm going to move my microphone here. Hold on a second.
No problem.
I'm switching ears. They already have the technology. If you know about Area 51, we've had it for years and years and years. So that when they tell you something out in the open, it's already ancient. Okay?
That's right.
They have the ability, and other people and other beings have the ability to block all of this technology that we think we have. They could fly an EC-121 over your city right now and capture all of your information, everything.
Wow.
What do you think the UFOs are doing?
Right. There's a lot of UFO activity there as well. I mean, going back to the 2007, those pictures where they got from the desert, those saucers out there.
Right. Well, supposedly one of these guys, I think it was Mantle, I was trying to get in touch with that guy the other day, and he's acting weird. He's over in the UK or Britain or however you want to call it this week. And they supposedly took some pictures. Somebody lived on base, and they saw something, and then they got a threat, so they hid the camera for a couple of days. Then they went back, retrieved it, and they still had the film, got it developed later. Then they're finally letting it out. How many years later? 20, 30, 40 years or something. I've taken pictures out there. I got pictures of the petroglyphs. I got pictures of a miner's shack out there in the Coastal Range. All the media is lying about this stuff.
Absolutely.
So they're saying, "Oh, the ground zero was in Ridgecrest." No, it wasn't.
I mean, the base is completely closed. It's shut down.
That's what they tell you.
Well,
yes.
The official story. I mean, this quake, the official story says it knocked out the base.
Maybe.
But the locals were reporting red glowing power lines. And, of course, you reported a couple of days ago the the bees, the dead bees that were falling out of the sky. What's up with that?
Well, I saw the information on other YouTubers, bloggers, whatever, and the bees were just coming down, buzzing around in circles and dying. Right. Because their gyroscopes, their solar systems, their electromagnetic fields were disrupted. And a lot of people think, oh, all the bees have to have is the sun. Well, that's part of it, but that's an indirect way, but they need the electromagnetic field is what they really operate on. In case it goes cloudy, they can still navigate.
Right. Something jammed their radar system. Something jammed the bees.
No, they didn't just jam it, they damaged it. So that's why they died. So,
oh, no.
Yeah, you have to overstate it to the point where they died versus, they just disrupted them. But it's like the whales and the dolphins when they get beached. They're trying to claim it was something else. Oh, they all had the same virus. Oh, they all got sick at the same... Oh, come on, quit lying. It's the HAARP. They're putting out special sonar disruptive tones that will disrupt them, and it damages their ears and their eardrum that goes into their brain, and it just totally disrupts them to the point where it damages them. So they all start steering to the left and banging into each other.
Wow. What could be the cause of this? I mean, we hear so much... either it's misinformation, disinformation, or folklore about the base, saying that they have giant lasers underground similar to Archimedes' sun weapon. I mean,
sure.
They got a nuclear reactor down there that exploded. What the hell could have happened?
Well, you would have known if it was a nuclear reactor.
Yeah, I thought so.
But what's interesting, and even I remembered this because somebody else stated on the internet or brought it up about Ridgecrest, not Channel 8, Ridgecrest, is the largest earthquake capital of the world, which means they have earthquakes every day, right now, this minute, all day, all along, left and right, up and down, while you're asleep at 3 in the morning, or you should be asleep, and when you're not. But I don't remember feeling earthquakes like that at all when I lived in China Lake. I lived on base. I didn't live in Ridgecrest, but the earthquakes occurred on base on the bombing ranges north and northwest of the actual gate. There's two gates that I'm thinking of in general, right off Inyo-Kern Boulevard, which is from the Inyo-Kern direction, and then if you come from the south going north, you're going up the main street. After you run into a certain part of the fence, you can't go anywhere. You're going to have to turn right to the base to enter the base, or you're going to have to go left 20 miles to go to Inyo-Kern.
Right.
Unless you go to a back gate, so I'm familiar with at least that and maybe another one. But there are high security gates and so forth. But these activities occur on base. They're lying to the American public every time by saying, well, it happened at Ridgecrest again today. No, it didn't. It was in Searles Valley. Where's Searles Valley? It's on Naval Weapons Center, China Lake.
Right.
Now they call it NAWS, NAWS. Some other person put it out as U.S. Marine Corps, NAWS. Jeez. I mean, how many names you guys going to come up with? It's still China Lake to me, you know.
Right. No, you reported also that an X-37B out there, the super secretive aircraft by Boeing, was out there doing some type of mission or something.
I did not personally see it. I did report it from another source that had information and saw it. But see, here's the other thing. We're beyond the bombing range stuff now. We got to start talking and thinking about electromagnetic weapons.
Right, EMP, all that.
Exactly. So once you realize what we're talking about is if another country came over, dropped an EMP pulse bomb, it would disrupt everything in the United States. If they did it somewhere in the mid-United States, it would disrupt most of it right there.
That's right, John. And Searles Valley, if you look at the etymology, Searles is, believe it means shield or something like that. So, I mean, could they have fired up the defense systems because maybe we were being attacked? I mean, we don't know if this Chinese, the Chinese have infiltrated parts of our military. They wouldn't tell us, right? They don't want all the panic. So, I mean, we don't know what the hell's going on out there.
Well, I've heard some angles and theories on that, too, because of Costco and the Chinese influence, like in Long Beach.
That's right.
They've got an incoming reception type commercial base type of influence and things like that. In fact, I've actually reported some corrupt customs officials still on the hook for human trafficking, and yet nobody's doing a darn thing about it.
Wow.
So I think everybody's taking a piece of the pie and just dividing it up, making their millions of dollars or billions, like Pelosi and Schumer and all these other guys who happen to know or have contacts with people like Chapo Guzman, who could buy off the whole United States.
Oh, yeah.
They're talking about the border fence. I was just down there last couple of days doing filming on some other interviews, and people don't get it. They just don't get it. We're at war. We're just waiting for the first shot.
Oh, yeah, no, it's Cloward and Piven that I see going out there on the border, and you have so much experience in law enforcement. I mean, is that you in that picture from the 80s where it looks, I don't know what year it is, but you're in a cop car, in a squad car?
Yeah, that's the customs chase car, right?
Oh, man, you look just like this dude from the TV show Stranger Things, the cop. That's what I'm saying. And he's dealing with all sorts of underground stuff. You know, on that show, they actually said it aired on the 4th of July, the same day as the quake in California, and they said on that show, we have front row seats to the big one. So, I mean, so much predictive programming. They got underground bases in that show, some type of experiments. I mean, all this stuff is, we're bombarded with things right now that are happening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one-lined on all this or one way on all of things because I got such a varied background. But I'm familiar with the Dulce, New Mexico underground base, the Lacerda interview.
Right.
Thomas Edwin Costello, who allegedly was a security officer on that base, is dead back in '96. At the same time frame, a guy named Phil Snyder, who was also a scientist, archaeologist, military background through his father, who had artifacts and archaeological stuff from these aliens. So people don't get the fact that they've got this gigantic tunnel-making machine that will just heat up and drill through a mountain of granite, and they could do it miles per day type of thing.
Wow.
And then they could just lay out track and cement and tons of material. And you got truck drivers going down there every day for the past over 20 years. I'm surprised at the highways they got. I mean, they got highways from Washington that could go to the East Coast, to the West Coast, to the middle of the United States, to NORAD, to the special areas where they've got the continuity of government locations. You know
That's
about
right.
those, right? So they have to be able to whisk certain people away and say, yeah, we want all these people to be safe. Take all of Congress, would you please? Take them and put them on an island and drop them and leave them there just to test it. See if it works.
No, take all those drunk bastards like drunk Nancy Pelosi, all those clowns. You have a background in martial arts, right? Your Secret Service. You know how to channel your chi and kick somebody's ass.
Right. I lived in Japan. I had judo, karate, and all that. I developed into Aikido, the Jeet Kune Do, which is Bruce Lee style. Cool. I know a guy named Steven Seagal, so I used to go to his dojo after work at the border a lot. So that was kind of a drive.
That's cool. I remember him. His signature move was just snapping the neck. Just bah! He just snapped the neck.
Yeah, the famous Iramanagi maneuver where the guy comes in, it's kind of like a modified clothesline deal. But
that kicked ass.
Yeah, you'll screw your shoulder up if you don't do it right. But he's 6'3" or 4". I'm 6'3". I'm shrinking, getting old. But he's about the same. But he's got a gut probably as bad or worse than I do. So that's because it's health. You know what I mean?
Well, you're channeling your chakra there. And, that's the source of your power sometimes, too. You could just say it's a base, you could, punch.
Oh, yeah. That's true. A lot of people don't get that either. There's a few pictures of that stuff. I mean, I could talk about martial arts alone all day long,
Right.
Putin, by the way, is a martial artist. No collusion here. And he's into judo, so I've communicated with him.
Oh, that's amazing. So he's the first midget to do martial arts. No, I'm just kidding.
No, not really. He's
since Spetsnaz's after me. I don't know.
Even if you put Putin next to him, Putin still has some abilities. I've seen him do some workout. He's not anybody to be screwing around with. I mean, that guy's a man's man. I mean, he's ex-KGB. Martial arts, that sort of thing. He's the only guy I know that has a full-size statue of Jigoro Kano.
Wow!
In the doorway of his house, which would be a nice chunk of change. That's the founder of judo. But yeah, these guys that have this stuff, these abilities, and I looked at the past presidents that we had. I will not pull punches. I do not sugarcoat like some other people that are ex-Secret Service. I won't mention Dan Bongino's name or some of these other guys. But and a good friend is Gary Byrne, B-Y-R-N-E. He's got a book, Crisis of Character. I want to plug his book a little bit because nobody will publish mine because it's too dangerous. At least that's what I've been told by some publishers.
Oh, man. Well, you could self-publish, You could self-publish. They got all sorts of tools to help you online nowadays.
Well, I know that I don't have self-money.
I see. Right.
Go to my Patreon page and throw $10 a month for a while so I can pay for bills and gas and
right. Help support your work. Right. How can our listeners help you out there, John?
Well, I hate to beg and grovel.
No, not at all. Not.
But you kind of brought it up and it kind of came into the conversation. But whistleblowers are not supported. And they're not protected by the laws.
Absolutely.
And I got screwed over, and I had death threats, and I went to the U.S. Attorney in San Diego. I already went to Internal Affairs and all those other idiots. They don't work. They're corrupt. But even the FBI was present. I gave them like a 3-inch thick binder with the U.S. Attorney Amalia Mesa and an FBI agent named Greg Harmon. And we made a conference call to a guy named John C. Keeney, who was the Attorney General to Janet Reno in 96. Well, we're sorry, Mr. Carman, we can't help you unless they're shooting bullets at you, quote.
Right.
Really? I'm rolling my eyes. Really? They're so stupid.
So you've seen a lot of action over at the border, right? I mean, you've worked there.
Sure.
I mean, you know what they're doing there. The cartels are sinister. I mean, they literally. I think they're demons, and they rip the pineal gland right out of people. I mean,
no, you almost said it. Adrenochrome.
Yeah, I mean, they got to be into that. Going back to the ancient Aztec and Mayan times, they did that. I mean, these are sick, demonic people we have there that we're at war with.
That's Hillary's drink.
Oh yeah,
that's what she does.
That's her martini.
When they go to the Bohemian Grove and these connected thing with spirit cooking.
Oh yeah.
They take that, and believe it or not, it is connected to these reptilians or these aliens or demons or whoever the category is. All 57 of them.
It's got to be some type of interdimensional parasitic, because it's just so disgusting. It's got. I think it's an interdimensional parasitic connection that causes someone. I mean, the brain has a part of it that's known as the reptilian. So that's some connection there, I believe.
Yeah, I've talked to some other people about the same stuff, but I'll give you an example. I have to take. And I don't mind telling you because it fits into the medical side of it, is that somehow I got damaged working at the border. I don't smoke, I don't drink, but sucking up toxic fumes from car exhaust for 15 years will eventually do something. But I think at some point I got exposed to poison or other artificial narcotics that the canines were using, because some idiot was letting it fly through the air and it was all dusty.
Oh, man.
I literally got sick within 10 minutes. Had to come back to the bathroom or something, wash up.
Well, when I'm at the border, I get sick just the smell alone. I'm like, oh man, I'm at the border. It smells.
No, it is toxic.
Yeah.
It is toxic. There's no question about it, but they don't want you to know that. But I take supplemental shots and treatments for the testosterone level because my testosterone levels have been damaged.
Oh, man.
Now, take that in mind with the aliens that are here, that they're short of their own testosterone to the point where they're dying off, and they need our testosterone and sperm and ovum, for technical terms. So what they do, in another sense, is they seek out and go for the samples. They're looking for samples, however they get them, steal the egg, steal the ovum. They're making hybrids, and they're doing stuff with the testosterone stuff. So if you're a white male, black male, Asian male, it doesn't matter. If you're over 40 years old, I suggest you go get your testosterone checked by a blood sample. And if it goes below 200, you're in dangerously low areas.
So what they're doing, they're like a bunch of energy-sucking vampires out there.
Well, no, it ties in with the adrenochromes that you brought up, because the adrenochromes gets into that, but it also goes to the adrenals, which is into your adrenal glands, the pineal gland, which is the center of your brain, the hypothalamus, thalamus, pineal, all that. If you destroy the pineal or take that out, you're dead. You're nothing. You're just a drone.
You know, John, I've heard that in places like China Lake, I mean, they're doing mind control experiments and stuff of this kind to, unsuspecting lab rats. Is that rumor?
I've heard there was a lady, I can't think of her name. Is it a Cheryl something or other, or one or two of the ladies that was like, you could watch them on YouTube. And I got that lady hasn't blinked in over 2 minutes.
Wow.
There's something wrong with her. She's either under trance.
That's right.
Or she's just, rattling off stuff. But some people claim that they said that one of the German Nazi scientists was like Dr. Mengele or somebody.
Wow.
And I'm sitting here going, no, Mengele was never at China Lake, to my knowledge. And if I heard about it, I would have found out maybe. But I worked with some serious people there, but I was not at the scientist level where I was rubbing elbows with these guys at lunchtime, but I knew other cases. I even got hired for a case that was a homicide case from a lady whose husband killed himself off base next to Inyokorn, right next 10 miles off the base.
Wow.
And he had a shotgun pointed to his chest, and his engine was still running, and it ran empty all night.
Oh,
so
man.
He went out there, allegedly got drunk, shot himself with a .410 to his chest or something, and killed himself and let the engine run all night. And then they finally figured out, hey, there's a guy there, and Why did he do that? It sounds like the James Sabo case where they had drug run jets coming into the base, and they were using it as a fueling point, so they had to stop off somewhere, and they were using military jets. And I've seen military jets not appear where they were supposed to show up for a customs check, because we checked military planes as well. So if you decide to take your space shuttle to the moon and you come back, guess what? You got to go through customs like everybody else.
Oh, man. Yeah.
How many rocks have you got? Oh, I got about 15 pounds. Okay. Put it on the manifest.
You just got to run you just got to run into a big wall if you want to go to the moon. Anyway, John, what do you make of this Storm Area 51 thing? Do you think they're going to have a bloodbath out there?
God, I hope so. But it won't be the people on base that do it or get it. What a bunch of idiots. I mean, they're trying to think, they can just go do something, and there's nothing importance there. I mean,
you think those dorks out there think they're going to find an alien female to mate with? I mean, they think they can make it past the lasers and the guards? I mean, what's up with that?
They can't get past any of that. I mean, that's so ridiculous. I mean, the security guards would probably have a heyday going, hey, wow, we get to use our guns.
My goodness.
They still have to drive so many miles just to get to where they're going. And I was trying to think, there was a fake investigator who's now in federal prison right now. I can't think of his name. You may be able to think of it. Kind of a short, chubby, straight-haired, brown-haired guy, clean-shaven, baby-faced guy. I can't think of his name. Him and his wife both ended up going to federal prison because they were connected to scamming people, claiming, well, we can do this and we can connect you to aliens, or we can go find this or that or the other. Really? I mean, come on. I mean, I'll tell you the truth, but if they have anything happen out there, which is a joke, even somebody this morning was putting out some propaganda information on it, trying to cover their butts legally by saying, oh, no, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. We were just joking. Well, if people go out there and try to do something stupid, it's on whoever suggested it, but they're not going to get anything. Wow. They'll just get shot by some stupid security guard before they even get within a couple miles, and that's it. What a waste.
It sounds like they're going to have a massacre out there. If they should storm any place, it should be a place like the Vatican, all those child rapists out there, and a place like the Vatican, or maybe even, how about China Lake, right? I mean, there's something going on there. I mean, they're going to blow the whole California to smithereens.
I've heard the connection, and you're touching on a lot of issues where they try to make different connections. I've actually talked to people that were involved with mind control. I've actually talked to people who were, child molested type victims with these special groups. And in fact, I know a guy named Ted Gunderson, who was an ex-SAC agent of the FBI.
Right, Ted Gunderson, FBI.
And I talked all kinds of stuff. He would ask me all kinds of things. John, did you ever see him bring in kids on the midnight shift to the White House? I said, no.
Oh, my God.
If they did, I would have known about it unless they smuggled them in through somewhere else. But why take them there? I mean, unless it's the center of the pentagram or some other religious purpose that they would have to do a religious ceremony, some agent would certainly find out. But
right.
But there's so many decoys with this idea that it just takes you another direction because of the Satanism and stuff. Because the whole area was built on the Lafayette principle, which was like a starburst, like in France and Paris, DuPont Circle, and all these other things. But they claim that they superimposed a pentagram over the top, and it seems to come from the area of the White House, is what they're trying to do.
Oh, yeah, they put all sorts of symbols tattooed, many of these on bases. I mean, like Coronado base is a swastika.
And you know about Coronado.
Then you got...
Wait, I got to freak you out.
You got China Lake, a giant Masonic compass, but yeah, go on.
I just remembered this, but if you look up the old Granite Lady, the U.S. Mint in San Francisco, I actually worked there for like 10 months. Because all I did was take a job up there to get reinstated so I could get transferred laterally to Customs. But I never did but maybe a couple of patrols. We didn't patrol all the time as much as everybody rotated it. But I was indoors a lot, which I hate. But, I mean, I was carrying an Uzi, a 357, a shotgun, a rifle slug, all kinds of stuff. And we had to protect like over 1,065 pounds of pure raw gold.
Wow.
But if you look at the building, go to a Google search, because I only looked at it recently. I go, wait a minute, I forgot about those. They have the swastika emblem at the cornerstones of the building, which was built way back in the early 1800s, I guess. And it stood strong during the 1906 earthquake fires in San Francisco. So it's just kind of weird. But if the Illuminati and all these people are putting their symbols all over the place, yeah, that looks kind of strange, unless it's in reverse and it's the other emblem from the Navajo Indians.
That's right. That's right.
Right?
A lot of them have been inverted, and they're now used for bizarre and malevolent purpose. Anyway, John, how can my listeners find you, and if you want to be found, because you're like secret agent man, right? You don't want to be found, but if where can they contact you if they want to say hello or help you out?
They can go to they can find me on Facebook. I've got a Patreon page, which is my name. I think it's John._.A_Carman, CARMAN. But you can get through to me through just a regular email, john.a.carman, CARMAN, @gmail.com. My website's been under attack for so many years that you're lucky to even just look at the first 2 pages, and that's good enough. But the contact information has been blocked. They've attacked it. They put other links, different links to other parts of the page, but you can still recover it on thearchive.org. Have you heard of those guys?
Yes.
They're good. They used to be called the waybackmachine.org, which was cool, way back in the day, like from the cartoon,
I hear you. Well, thank you for being on the show. I hope California, nothing else happens there, but it's only a matter of time. They say that before the big one happens. I mean, they could use the whole earthquake thing as a cover up as well. Who knows what they're doing down there? But if anything happens,
sure.
We'll call you and get the scoop.
Well, I'd recommend Charlotte King. She's the one that predicted the Mount St. Helens eruption in 1981.
Oh, okay.
She's on the internet. Get in touch with her. Get on her email list. I do this to do it.
You got it. Thank you for the shout out.
All right.
For the recommendation, and thank you, John. We'll talk soon. Great interview. We'll have you on again. Thank you, John. John Carman.
Bruce.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. That was John Carman joining us. The Bruce Montalvo Show. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Bruce Montalvo, Facebook Montalvo Show, and we're on live Mondays, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. TalkStream Live Fridays, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. TalkStreamLive.com. Follow us TalkStreamLive.com. Download the app. We're also on all sorts of channels they got on TalkStreamLive.com, and sure to shop with us. We're at Poshmark, at Anti-Culture, at Jaja Jewelry. And this has been a special broadcast of the Bruce Montalvo Show, signing out.
Montalvo Broadcasting Network.